if we wanted to achieve universal health care, what is the plausibility of success or self destruction? What is our ultimate goal? And the goal is disease. So, our disease our disease. That's not. I'm not trying to use a universal term here. I need something to think about, you know? I gotta think about something. So, today, I'm just gonna rationalize universal health care. So, I've been thinking about it for a while, admittedly, studying socialism, communism, and capitalism. Basically, well, I mean, we're all communal. Even capitalism's communal. I used to tell that to my teacher. We're all communists. Maybe they said that to me. It's been so long. Doesn't matter. Anyway, how do you keep these things in check? Universal health care. So, aside from the aspects of everything else I've mentioned, how do we exchange? What is the problem of exchange? So, the problem of exchange that I can figure out in my current state, is that I'm curious, does my mustache get glorious? I don't know, it's like I never trim it, and this looks ridiculous. But is that glorious or not? Would there be like a young man who walks up, he's like, your mustache is glorious? It's way off topic. I'm watching too many shows. It brings out the innerness. Anyway, the exchange rate. So, how could you potentially incorporate cryptocurrency? That's interesting to consider. I think it is potentially the only option we really have right now to try and isolate a utopian like ideal that it could emphasize a theoretical foundation of infinite potential and be studied, maybe even work and succeed. Diseases are cheap, so that's one thing to think about. Okay, diseases are very cheap, and it takes about as minimal energy as possible. It just sort of is there. Like, yeah, I guess you could calculate the mass of a bacterial strain on your skin, like when you're gonna touch somebody. But for the most part, it's gonna be unnoticeable. Unless you're like really fucking dirty, man. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's gonna have an impact. But do we have a social study or a biological study to know how just one bacterial strain is going to lower your lifespan because you're using too much energy because you're not clean enough? I don't think so. So, where's the exchange? The exchange has to happen. So we have this pure theoretical construct that can literally, we can just put everything into for humility. And I don't even just talk about medicine, anything in general. You know, it's like an equation. It's philosophically equatable. There has to be an exchange if you're going to isolate two properties, right? So that's basic thermodynamics. And if you have a cryptocurrency. Can that cryptocurrency function as an insulator? It'd blow my fucking mind if it does. It could function as an insulator, that you could have infinitely variable state of, like, sort of control, but yet an idealistic approach from both ends. This is your goal, this is what we let out. And within is infinite potential, without is, standard model physics. What would happen within then if you looked at it like that? Mutations, genetic splicing. At a certain point, you become less innocent, I think, and worrying about what it means to play God is inherent to our standard of being human in general. To master the universe, I want to play God. I mean, our physical stature, like wearing armor, is playing God, because naturally, if you ran through a cornfield, you'd have a rash, right? Like, so there's a lot of hypocrisy to consider. It is foundational hypocrisy. I want to just talk about universal healthcare. So let's just consider this for a little bit. How do you exchange? What are the means of exchanging? Because right now we don't really have any other probability that could maintain an equitable format. Because if everything's encrypted, you have an isolated system that is regulated by an insulator. One atom in, one atom out, right? So you gotta look at it like quantum dynamics. I don't know. It's always good to use nature. It's a complicated idea, because there's a lot riding on it. It's basically the entire fucking future of humanity riding on such a concept that you have to consider every fucking variable. Where could it be exploited? The laws of free will are really good to incorporate. Those can't be corrupted. How do you incorporate the laws of free will into a universal healthcare system with our modern structure of economics? I respect our modern structure of economics. It's proven itself to me. I get it. I support it. You know, I used to be really rebellious. I still am, but shit isn't as innocent as it once was. Smoking pot in a van in the back of Earth Day. You know, like, you were a rebel if you were smoking pot in some band's van. It was a really cool band's van. I mean, on China was awesome, but on Earth Day, it's like, couldn't even inhale. I was coughed. I was so young I didn't even know what being stoned was. Hilarious. Anyway. I suppose it's the only option. We take cryptocurrency and we take encryption. Well, crypto, and it's like a shortened version for that. The same thing. And you isolate that. Now, who could monopolize that? Who is the what's that guy? To monopolize the oil industry. It's called an effect. I'll remember it in 5 minutes. So we take that. You know, you have the crypto, which is a theoretical value, and it is foundational to theoretical tessellations values. So that's very interesting. And we incorporate that with modern economics so that, see, it would be just too scary for people. They aren't smart enough to understand that. I can barely fucking grasp it. But you need, if you're gonna have universal healthcare, you need an input that is just relentless, because it has to be as relentless as every disease possible times every potential solution, especially when they're new diseases, right? So you need like an infinite well, and you have to just keep pumping in. So we keep pumping in this theoretical value, and create a crypto analytical structure, which could refine back in on itself, right? I don't know. I'm not the bad guy. I don't know how to defeat it. Laws of free will are the only things I ever did that could prove over time. So I think you have to incorporate those. So you incorporate those into this crypto analytical structure that is a insulator between two states of reality that we create. But what are you gonna do?